Hello and welcome to What the Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Tuesday, September 17th, 2024. Welcome to day 1337. Senate Republicans blocked legislation that would federally protect access to in vitro fertilization. The package is called the Right to IVF Act, and it would establish a nationwide right to receive fertility treatment from a healthcare provider in accordance with widely accepted and evidence-based medical standards of care, and it would ensure insurance coverage for such treatments. It marks the second time that Republicans, despite Trump's statements supporting the fertility treatment, have filibustered the Democratic legislation. Kamala Harris said that Republicans have once again made clear that they will not protect access to the fertility treatments many couples need, and their opposition to a woman's freedom to make decisions about her own body is extreme, dangerous, and wrong. Moving on, a sheriff in Ohio urged residents to write down the addresses of Harris supporters for future reference. Portage County Sheriff Bruce Zukowski suggested that he would use the list to send undocumented immigrants, who he referred to as human locusts, to those homes. Zukowski is trying to get reelected, and it is illegal under federal law to intimidate voters into not casting the vote of their choice. Meanwhile, nearly 100,000 people in Arizona may not be eligible to vote after officials discovered an error that incorrectly marked those voters with having provided documented proof of citizenship when it's actually unclear whether they have. After more than 2 decades, officials discovered that roughly 98,000 of the state's 4.1 million registered voters, more Republicans than Democrats, had been marked as eligible to receive full ballots, even though there's no record of them ever providing citizenship documents. Arizona requires proof of U.S. citizenship in order to vote in state and local elections, and if voters don't provide proof of citizenship, they're registered as what Arizona calls federal-only voters, who can only vote for president and Congress, which means the issue will not affect the upcoming vote for president or Arizona's U.S. Senate seat. Moving on, in Florida, law enforcement officials will conduct their own criminal investigation into the man who had a rifle at one of Trump's golf courses. Governor Ron DeSantis said Florida prosecutors will pursue the most serious charges available under state law, including attempted murder. DeSantis also believes the state's case should take precedence over the federal prosecution, saying, "In my judgment, it's not in the best interest of our state or our nation to have the same federal agencies that are seeking to prosecute Donald Trump leading this investigation, especially when the most serious, straightforward offense constitutes a violation of state law, but not federal law." And finally, House Speaker Mike Johnson set up a vote for a 6-month stopgap government funding plan, which is still expected to fail because it's linked to legislation requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote. A vote on the same package was abruptly delayed last week after Republicans vowed to tank the measure. And while the measure has picked up little, if any, support since Johnson pulled it last week, the House still plans to vote on the bill Wednesday anyway. The move will allow Johnson to move on to a Plan B, even though it's unclear what a Plan B would look like. Democrats and the White House say they want a clean 3-month stopgap bill, while Trump continues to demand that Republicans shut down the government if they don't get absolute assurances on election security, even though non-citizen voting is already illegal. Congress is facing an October 1st deadline to avoid a government shutdown. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditis.